Hi guys, welcome to Dina's Travel Diaries. I'm so excited to make this video because it's long overdue. As you know, I'm just gonna get right into it. This is my first ever sit down video. This is probably my first ever YouTube video, maybe third, maybe fourth. But actually sit down, my first time for sure. I just got back from my 5 weeks trip around Panama and Brazil. And I get a lot of questions asking about traveling, like how do you travel, where do you go, how do you know what to do, like very basic things. So I was like, why not just make a YouTube video for everyone to see, whoever wants to see, kind of explaining how to do it. It's pretty simple. If you're a backpacker and you've backpacked before, then obviously you know what I'm about to say, so this video is not for you, but keep watching. But this video is basically for anybody who wants to start traveling, doesn't know where to start, doesn't know how to start, doesn't know where to go, kind of like very simple things. So hopefully this will help with your next trip, because I get a lot of questions. So I'm gonna try and answer most of the questions that I do get and try and kind of give a step-by-step on how to figure out your next trip. It's pretty simple. I will say I think backpacking and like vacation is a little bit different in a sense where, like, if you're going on a vacation, a lot of people like to go like all-inclusive resorts, stay on the resort for a week, come back home, which is fine. Like, you know, it's up to everybody to do what they want to do and travel. I've done all-inclusive resorts, so like they're totally normal. I personally, I'm not a big fan of them. Backpacking, I will say, if you don't know what backpacking is, basically like it's kind of a cheaper way to travel. So you're basically staying in hostels, you're kind of jumping around from city to city. You're kind of like, it's like budget traveling. So you're eating local food to save money, like you're traveling by buses instead of airplanes because it's cheaper. Like, so you're kind of more into the country than just staying on a resort type of thing. So it's very different. There's a lot of pros and there's a lot of cons, but I love it. I think if I won the lottery and I had like $1 million, whatever, I think I would still backpack just because like the experience and like the environment is just like amazing. And like you have to go figure out and find out for yourself. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I will say if you're trying to find a trip and don't know where to go, I would say narrow it down to like what your budget is, where exactly you want to go, and like research countries. Like if you want to go somewhere further, then flights will probably be more expensive. If you want to go somewhere closer, it might be a little bit cheaper. Like, do you want somewhere that speaks English as like a first trip or second trip, whatever? Do you want somewhere that doesn't speak English? Like, for example, my first solo trip was to Hawaii. So I decided to go to Hawaii because one, they speak English, so I felt more comfortable obviously in a country that speaks English. Two, it wasn't too far, so it was closer than most places I would like to go to, like for example like Asia. Obviously that's way too far. Also, like, I really love beaches, I love islands, like I just love the island vibe, so that's what I was going for. And also I didn't have a lot of time, so I knew like Hawaii is expensive, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time there even if I went there like in a few years. So I was like, why not go there as my first solo trip? So figure out where you want to go. Are you going to be alone or are you going to be with people? And if you are going with people, who are you going to be with? I will say it's so important to pick and choose who you travel with, especially if you're backpacking, because it's not for everybody. Like, you need to have a certain personality. If your friend is not up to stay in dorm rooms with 10 other people and you are, like, if your friend likes to party and you don't, like, there's gonna be like, it's not gonna be compatible. So I would say pick and choose. Even if it's like your best friend, like that doesn't mean you can travel with them, because I am close with people that I know for sure I would not be able to travel with because everything's just so different. So you really need to pick and choose, and it will really make or break a trip, like if you go with the wrong group or go with the wrong people. Like, so sometimes solo dolo is just much better in my opinion. Like, I love solo traveling. Also, if you are going solo, for example, I would definitely like research again what countries are solo friendly, like traveling, like easy to make friends. For example, like most of my travel experiences have been through Central America. I will say they are 100% solo friendly travel places. I would say like 70% of people traveling in Central America are traveling alone. Most people are traveling alone, and then you just meet people while you're traveling who you like, and you end up like going the same route, so like you end up traveling together. I will say, if you are looking to backpack, number one thing is you're staying in dorm rooms. So Hostel World is a really good app to book hostels. That's where I book all my hostels. So if you want to stay in dorm rooms, you can. Hostels also have private rooms, kind of like a hotel, but private rooms in a hostel. So they do have those options, but it is a little bit more expensive. Obviously, budget traveler, I'm going for the cheapest option. So dorm rooms, I really don't care if I'm staying in a 20 dorm room or in a 4 dorm room. Like, I stayed in dorm rooms with like 3 bunk beds with like 15 people. Like, I honestly, like, sometimes if you're traveling long term, I feel like sometimes it gets a little bit annoying because like everybody has different schedules, everyone's waking up at different times, but that's how you make friends. Like, I've made so many friends in my hostels that like I literally like still keep in touch with all over the world. So I honestly think it's fun. Like, hostels, like the party vibes, hostels are always there, like you're always making friends. But some people can't stay in a dorm room with 10 other people, so it's not for everybody. Like, if you like your space, if you like a nice big comfy bed, like, I wouldn't recommend staying in hostels. But if you don't care about it and you're there for the adventure and you're there for the fun, I would definitely recommend staying in hostels. Like, I love hostels. I also have kitchens, so you can cook your own food. That's also another thing, like when you're budget traveling, like especially when you're traveling for long term. Like, if I'm going on a trip that's over a week, I will probably be cooking my food, because after you buy food like every day over a week, like that just gets, it's too much money, right? I'd rather spend my money on activities and going sightseeing. So food wise, like the first day, usually when I arrive somewhere, I go to the grocery store. Breakfast, I always buy breakfast, and then sometimes like easy things like noodles, mac and cheese, rice. I make a lot of rice and pasta. And like hostels have like the utilities for you to use, so it's super easy. As well, hostels have events, so I honestly feel like hostels are more like, they're more like prone to make people make friends. So like they have happy hours, they have events. Like a lot of hostels have events like every night. Some hostels have like pub crawls, pool crawls, like they have like boat tours. They have all these different type of events, different ways to meet people. A lot of hostels have like a welcome drink, so like they'll give you a welcome drink your first day there, and then like you get to meet other people who just got there and like who are other travelers. So it's super easy to make friends. So I will say, I feel like as a like backpacker, I think like if you're a social person, if you like to meet people, if you like to talk to people, I think it's an important factor. Because if you're in a hostel and you're shy, quiet, like it's okay. Like if you want to do you, that's totally fine. But like, I'm a very extroverted person. I love to meet people, I love to talk to people, I love to hear stories. So I'm like always making friends when I'm traveling. So if you're more of a quiet, shy person, like it definitely will get you out of your comfort zone, because like you kind of need to make friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes solo traveling does get lonely, and like you don't want to be alone all the time. So I will say, if you are social, then that's a check. That's really great. So on Hostel World, there are reviews, so like you can read reviews of like how people like the hostel. So if there is a hostel like you're really interested in, and like it says it's a party hostel, like it looks like really fun, like, and you want to go party, like, then that's great. There are other hostels that are much more quiet and relaxed, that you can read the reviews on. So pick and choose your hostels, right? And so while you're finding your trip, then obviously you're researching the country, you're reading you're reading blogs, you're watching videos. Like I watch a lot of YouTube videos, so for me, I love watching YouTube videos. Also, another thing, like if you want to like travel and backpack, is like local buses. So I take a lot of local buses when I'm traveling. They can be really frustrating sometimes, especially like in countries where like Central America, like time is like, if you're African too, like I'm African, so you know, we're on African time everywhere basically except for North America. So sometimes you're literally waiting for a bus for hours and it's not coming, like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it does get frustrating, or like the bus is like super packed and you still gotta get on with your backpack and then your bag in the front. So very uncomfortable, very hot, very sticky, very smelly sometimes. So, but they're cheap. Like, that's the main reason, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're taking a bus, a 6-7 hour bus, maybe for like 10 bucks. That's even kind of expensive. I think it could be less depending on where you are. So like, you're looking for the local experience, right? So you get it there, taking local buses, transportation. I've done chicken buses, so I've literally crossed borders in Central America by chicken buses, which is also very hectic. Chicken buses are basically like a big school bus that just takes people like through like their city or the country or wherever. So like in Costa Rica to like Nicaragua and stuff like that, like you can take chicken buses. Like me and like my sister once, like we were on a chicken bus and like we were in the very back of the bus, like the school bus, and we were literally sitting like on rice. Like we didn't even have a chair.
Their seats.
It was that packed, but like I love it because like I'm there for the experience and the adventure, right? So to me, I could care less. Where some people might not like that. They might feel more comfortable on like a shuttle or a bus, which is like a normal like bus. So, which is definitely okay. Like, if that's what you want, then that's what you want. I think like for a new traveler, it might be confusing, especially if you're in a country that you don't know the language of, because a lot of the times in very rural areas, they don't speak English. So it's hard to communicate. I would research like, do you want like a party place? Do you want a nature place? Do you want a beach place? Like, do you want all three? To figure out where you want to go. If you want to go to, like, for example, let's say Europe, okay? Europe's a little bit more expensive, okay? Let's say Europe. You want to go to Europe, but it's a little bit expensive, but they have very nice beaches there, but they also have very nice beaches in Central America, which is cheaper. So yeah, it's all about what you want and the culture. Like, if you're looking for a more European culture, more South Asian culture, like, you know what I mean? So it really depends on what you want, no one else. You. And then I would say you book the ticket once you figure out where you want to go. And if you're going alone, then great. Like, honestly, I'm telling you, if you're gonna travel alone, do not be scared. You're gonna make friends as long as you try to make friends, okay? If you're staying in hostels, you're gonna make friends. There's Facebook groups. Like, you can literally join Facebook groups to a lot of different countries, and you can make friends there. Like, I'm in a lot of different Facebook groups from different countries, and people like post all the time like, oh hey, I'm gonna be here this day, like, and if anybody's there, do you want to hang out? Do you want to go for drinks? And also, a new feature that I've seen recently on Hostel World on the app is once you book with the hostel, you actually get like added to a group chat from everybody that's staying in the hostel. So like, you can join even like the town, like you can join like a group chat for travelers in the town, which is awesome. I just figured that out like on my last trip. And so like, you can ask questions, you can meet up with people. Everyone's always like, oh hey, who wants to grab drinks? Like, who wants to go swimming? Like, you know what I mean? Like, very simple things like that. That's how you make friends. Like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow, but I don't know where I'm going tomorrow. A lot of people ask about safety. I've been robbed twice. The less you spend, the longer you travel.